Good afternoon, my name is Guy Lorona and I will be presenting my persuasive speech on Palestine for Dr. Heal's Speech 1311 course. Imagine a scenario where the most basic requirements for survival, clean water, medical care, and a safe roof over your head, have been systematically dismantled, leaving millions in a state of constant life-threatening uncertainty. The ongoing crisis in Palestine has resulted in humanitarian catastrophe of an unprecedented scale. As members of a global community, the welfare of displaced families and children is a matter of universal human concern. My perspective is rooted in the humanitarian principles of impartiality and neutrality, drawing from reports by the United Nations, international human rights organizations, and global aid agencies on the ground. Humanitarian aid refers to the provision of life-saving supplies. These include food, water, medicine, and emergency shelter to those affected by conflict, distributed solely on the basis of urgent need. Supporting humanitarian relief for Palestine is a fundamental moral obligation that transcends political debate. We will explore the severity of the crisis, address common concerns regarding aid delivery, and outline actionable steps to provide immediate relief. To understand why we must act, we first must recognize the scale of the suffering currently faced by millions of civilians. This will include the critical necessity of human life. Access to basic services is not a political negotiation. It is a fundamental human right. Currently, over 2 million people in Gaza face critical shortages of clean water, nutrition, and essential health care. According to the UN, which stands for United Nations, and humanitarian aid agencies, the collapse of medical infrastructure with only a fraction of hospitals partially operational has left thousands without life-saving surgeries, antibiotics, or basic care for the most vulnerable. Beyond the immediate health crisis, we must look at the long-term impact on the next generation. The moral obligation to protect children and vulnerable populations. Humanitarian action is defined by prioritizing the most urgent cases of distress. A massive portion of the affected population consists of children, many of whom have been displaced, separated from their families, or deprived of education for years. Humanitarian organizations report that children are enduring extreme food and water deprivation, which carries catastrophic long-term consequences for the physical and psychological development. I know that when discussing such a complex issue, many of you may be concerned about the practicalities of how aid actually reaches those in need. So, to the objection, is aid actually reaching the people? A common concern is that aid may not be diverted or blocked, making assistance feel futile. While the operational environment is indeed complex and dangerous, international organizations like the Red Cross, Red Crescent, the UN, which stands for the UNRWA, and reputable NGOs maintain strict monitoring and auditing protocols to ensure aid is distributed impartially to those in urgent need, focusing on established humanitarian corridors. Even if the delivery process is difficult, we must address the concern of whether our individual actions can make any meaningful difference. Is my contribution too small to matter? It is easy to feel paralyzed by the scale of a global crisis and assume that individual actions are ineffective. History shows that sustained public support and collective contributions are the primary drivers for international policy shifts. Even small donations and public advocacy help sustain the operations of aid workers on the front lines who are currently risking their lives to deliver life-saving supplies. Now that we understand the necessity of this aid and the reality of the situation, we can take meaningful action today. We have identified the severe humanitarian needs in Palestine, addressed the challenges of aid distribution, and affirmed our individual capacity to impact the lives of civilians. I urge you to move from passive observation to active support by contributing to the relief of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Steps towards action. Donate. No matter what you can, donate. Even if it is $1, even if it is a penny, even if it is non-perishable food items, please, I urge you to donate. Give to verified humanitarian organizations. For example, the International Committee of the Red Cross or UN-affiliated agencies. These could be found online or can be found in your nearest government agency that provide direct neutral aid on the ground. Educate. Stay informed through reliable, nonpartisan news sources and international humanitarian reports to keep the focus on civilian needs. Some of these may include CNN, Fox News, ABC News, etc. But just make sure that your news are from actual, credible sources and reliable sources. Number 3, advocate. Urge your local representatives to support policies that prioritize the establishment of safe, unimpeded humanitarian corridors for aid delivery. Humanitarianism is not about taking sides. It is about taking a stand for humanity. When we reach out to those who have lost everything, we uphold the dignity of the human spirit. I would also like to add that no matter what, no donation is too small nor too big. Anything is able to help those in Gaza. Helping those in Gaza will contribute to financial prosperity for those stuck in what is now considered Israel, as Palestine is not acknowledged from the rest of the world. But we as humans know what is right, and even though Israel may have the right to claim its land because of Jerusalem, this spikes a lot of controversy with religious practices such as Christianity and Islam. Israel focuses on mostly Judaism and Christianity. As we all know, when we go to a fellow church, they all say shalom. This means that Israel is more likely to be on the Christian side, causing one to be in religious affairs. The whole reason why we are having this war is not because of land, it's more because of power and religious domination. As you all may know, in Gaza, Palestine, it is known as a Muslim country, as an Islam. They practice the religion Islam, and we as Christians, we practice Christianity. But even as a Christian, love thy neighbor, regardless of skin, age, race, religion. We are all the same people. We all bleed the same. And to support those in need, it is very easy to find someone near. And you can find it online, nonprofit organizations. And you may also find, I'm so sorry about that. You may also find numerous government agencies that are willing to help towards Gaza and the Palestinian aid. At the end, this concludes my presentation towards the Palestinian, what is necessity and how to survive and how to protect those in need. Thank you.